So many athletes I work with get tripped up on making mistakes. And so I wanted to do a video to talk to you about what are some of the things that you can do to help navigate mistakes more successfully and ideally avoid what I call the mistake snowball, where you make a mistake and then you keep thinking about it and get stressed out and frustrated, and then you ultimately make another mistake because you're thinking about the other mistake and getting stressed out and frustrated, and then the process repeats and you just make a lot of mistakes. Not the goal. And so, first and foremost, when navigating, like, how do I handle mistakes, is we need to reframe the belief that you need to be perfect. You are going to make mistakes. It is going to happen. It will not happen. Perfect is something that doesn't exist in any aspect or area of life. And so the idea and expectation of, well, I have to go out there and be perfect, I have to go out there and not make a mistake, unreal. And so first and foremost, you as an athlete need to renegotiate and shift this belief. The acceptance of the fact that mistakes can and will happen does not mean that you're going out trying to make a mistake. But if you give yourself, as weird as this sounds, permission to make a mistake every now and again, and recognize that they are unavoidable, not the worst thing in the world, going to happen no matter what, very helpful shifting that perception. So that when those mistakes happen, if you kind of have some permission to make a few, well, now instead of getting tripped up on it, it's like, well, that was the mistake I made, like learning opportunity, not something that that can avoid. Let's just keep going. And so the first absolute crucial thing in navigating mistakes is how you view them. If there are these things that you want to avoid, we're going to be disappointed, accepting that they will happen so that when they do, you can then continue to move forward from it and do the second and third step here. Beautiful. Speaking of the second and third step, step number 2, after you have realized and accepted the fact that mistakes will in fact happen, is identify and see them as learning experiences. What can you learn from them? What is your takeaway? We actually learn a lot more when we make mistakes and mess up in comparison to when we do things perfectly, because it challenges us to take the moment and be like, what can I learn from this? So number 2 is you have to view it as a learning experience and take a moment. Does not have to be in that moment in the game, can totally be after, but what can you learn from that mistake? And number 3, which can be a takeaway from number 2, but number 3, what is your action item? What are you as an athlete intentionally going to do differently or adjust to avoid making that exact same mistake again? Mistakes are going to happen, yeah. But that action item, even if another mistake's going to happen, can be a step in the direction for it to not be the exact same mistake, something that you're going to do differently, how you learn from that mistake. So number 1, have to accept that mistakes are going to happen. Number 2, view them as a learning experience and challenge yourself to get that lesson. And number 3, identify your action item going forward and what you are going to do differently to not only improve your game, but not make that exact same mistake again. So I hope this is helpful. I am Dr. Megan, sport and performance psychologist, and excited for you to unlock your MVP mindset to achieve all of your MVP performances.